Okay, we're live. All right. Hi, everyone. If you haven't got a drink ready, please get your drink ready. Remember, it's 5 o'clock. It's aperitivo time, or it's tea time, wherever you are. Get a drink ready, and we're gonna start playing. Okay. So yeah, get ready, relax. So welcome, and thank you for being here today. If you don't have the Emotions Games cards at home, today all you need is a piece of paper and a pen. So if you don't have that and you don't have your drink or a cup of tea, get yourself a cup of tea, your gin, your wine, whatever it is that you want, a piece of paper and a pen. Okay, and then we can start playing in today's game. Okay. So before I start, let me introduce myself like I do every Sunday. So my name is Ritz, and I'm here today with you to play Emotions Games. Now, Emotions Games is a project that was started by 5 very creative and curious people who want to help others to access emotional intelligence and train that emotional intelligence in a way that makes it fun and it makes it part of our everyday. So, what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the key, I think, in being successful. Okay, you're thinking, what is success? It depends on what your idea of success. I do actually think that any interpretation that you have of success is based also on emotional intelligence. So I'm going to just go through something from this book, which is Daniel Goleman's Emotional Intelligence and Why It Can Matter More Than IQ, to help give us a little bit of an understanding of what is emotional intelligence. Okay, so according to his book, the first thing that we can explore about emotional intelligence is knowing one's emotions, which can be described as having self-awareness. Okay, so recognizing and being able to monitor our emotions. That's maybe the first step that we can say for emotional intelligence. The second step then would be to manage these emotions. When I say manage these emotions, it doesn't mean suppress these emotions. It doesn't mean that if I feel angry, I shouldn't feel angry, or if I feel sad, I shouldn't feel sad, or if I feel happy, not to demonstrate that happiness. What it means is to make it appropriate to the situation. So part of the emotional intelligence journey is learning how to make our emotions appropriate for the situation. Okay. The third thing that this book also talks about is motivating oneself. Okay, so part of emotional intelligence is being able to motivate ourselves in our lives, which also means it's the concept of delaying gratification and trying to regulate our impulsiveness. Okay, so motivating oneself in the correct way for our lives, the things that we do every day. The fourth one is something that actually a lot of people know about. A lot of it is spoken about, especially in the mindfulness area as well, which is empathy. So empathy is the ability to recognize the emotions of other people. So it could be facial, it could be body language, it could be words. So recognizing that, being able to empathize with other people. Okay. And the last one here is handling relationships. So when we write on our CV that I have good interpersonal relationship skills, etc., what we actually mean is that we're able to interact with other people because of our emotional intelligence. So according to this book, we have knowing one's emotions, managing emotions, making sure they're appropriate to the situation, motivating oneself, so delaying that gratification and controlling the impulse, recognizing emotions in others, empathy, and handling relationships. So this is what we are actually talking about when we say emotional intelligence. Now, the Emotions Games project is helping people to be able to go through these 5 different steps and become more in tune with their emotions in order to then produce healthy relationships in general. When I talk about relationships, I'm not talking about romantic relationships only. I'm talking about all the relationships that we have in the world. So the relationship we have with ourselves, number one, the relationships we have with the people in our society, our family, our neighbors, dogs, cats, the relationships we have with the environment around us, and then also the relationship we have in general with the unknown, the energy that maybe people want to call spirituality, religion, whatever it is, that other sphere. Hi, Kiara, welcome. So those joining, hi, welcome. I was just explaining what emotional intelligence is and what emotions games can help us to do. So today I came up with a game that I think would be really easy for you guys to play at home. If you don't have the Emotions Games cards at home, don't worry, don't despair. Get a piece of paper, get a pen. I hope everybody has their drink now. So remember, a cup of tea, gin, wine, whatever you fancy, get it. It really does help just to sit down, relax, and have your favorite drink nearby. Okay. So today I wanted to play with the metaphor cards. Now, metaphor cards are really important because what they do is help us to train the right side of our brain. It gives us a visual representation, some of the metaphor cards, a visual representation of maybe what's happening inside of us. And it helps to train the right side of the brain, which is connected to our emotional intelligence. So the left side of the brain is logic, reasoning, things that we have learned in school that we get trained on a lot, but the right side is the one that hasn't been trained as much, and this is what the cards basically do, help us to train and help us to become more healthy communicators. Okay, so today we're going to work on this one, which is sound. Okay, I went to Berlin last month. No, it's September. I went in July. Losing sense of time. So I stayed with a friend and she makes sound art. So that's just part of her passion. She actually does self-defense, and there's a big crossover between the type of self-defense that she teaches and emotional intelligence. So I stayed with her and she played me a recording of something that she was trying to produce. So somebody had made, composed a piece of music to go with this art, to go with words, basically. So it was a sound art. Now, she had two versions. And she said, hey, would you like to listen to this? Yeah, sure. So I listened to it and I had an overwhelming sense of anxiety when I listened to it. Like, oh my God, I feel really anxious. I didn't feel comfortable. I felt like I needed to get away from this feeling. It was really overwhelming. And she said, so what do you think? And I said to her honestly, I said, well, Susie, I feel really anxious. I don't know if this is what you're trying to portray with the words that you wrote, but I feel really anxious. Then she played me another composition, and it had a completely different effect. So that got me thinking about how sound can actually affect our emotions and how sound is actually one of the senses. So obviously it has a very strong effect on our emotions, on our body, on our reactions. The interesting thing about the music that made me feel anxious, that when the person who composed it, got some feedback, they said, but that's not what I was going for. That's not the idea that I wanted. So that made me feel even more intrigued into the whole idea of sound and how this reflects on our emotions. So that whole experience helped me come up with this game. Okay, so basically I am going to explain the rules to you guys, and what I'd like you to do is just sit back, relax, and first things first, be in the moment. Okay, so my rule of, like, the first rule of today's game is be present, be in the here and now, right here, right now. You know, don't think about anything that usually happens or sometimes happens or how I usually feel. Think about now. Okay, think about now and in this very moment. I use the word think, and I shouldn't use the word think because I don't want us to stay on the left side of the brain. I want us to stay on the right side. So be in the present, be in the moment, and feel, don't think. Okay. When we play this game, I want you to go with the first thing that came into your mind. What was that first image or that first feeling that came into your mind? Okay. I also want you to be really conscious about the fact that there is no wrong or right answer. Okay, there is nothing that is wrong and there is nothing that is right. Anything that comes to you is personal and individual to you. So it doesn't make a difference if somebody has a different feeling, different vision, different emotion, different idea. Okay, this is about you, and this is an individual work that you're doing on yourself. Okay. So what I'd like to do is a quick warm up. So I would like us to relax, take a sip of our drink, take a deep breath, and I'm going to do a quick warm up just to get us working. So I'm going to use the metaphor cards here, and I'm going to pick one at random. And what I'd like you to do is just go with the first thing that comes into your mind. Okay, remember, don't think about it, just stay with whatever comes to your mind. If you want to, you can use the comment section to put in your feedback. Okay, so that's entirely up to you if you want to add it. If not, you can keep it personal and stay with it at home. It's no problem at all. Okay, so I'm going to pick a metaphor card, and I want you to go with the first image or feeling that comes into your mind. So you have to tell me if today, in this very moment, if you were a color, what color would you be today? The first color that came into my mind was pink, baby pink. And it's giving me, there are memories of my wall when I was a child in my childhood home. So the color baby pink. So what would you be today if you were a color? Remember, don't think, just the first thing that comes into your mind. You can write it into the comment section, or you can keep it, for you, it's personal. Okay. Oh, we've got some people here. Pink, orange, orange. We've got 2 orange people. 2 pinks today as well. Okay, perfect. All right. So the next metaphor card, if you are ready, is smell. If today you were a smell, what smell would you be? The smell that came into my mind instantly was the smell of the roses, the smell of flowers. That's how I feel right now. I feel the smell of roses. Anybody else? What do you smell like? If you were a smell, what smell would you be today? Again, you can put it in the comment section if you want to. If you want to share, if not, you can keep it personal. Okay. We have apple perfume. That's very nice. Mango. Oh, exotic. Mango is actually one of my favorite fruits. The smell of the sea. Baby lotion. Wonderful. Fantastic. All right, great work, guys. Peaches. We have the fruit. Got a really fruity smell going on here today, guys. This is wonderful. Thank you very much for whoever is participating and getting involved. It's really, really wonderful to have all of you here today. We're going to go with the last one now, just to warm us up. Okay, if you were a dish, a cooked meal today, what would you be? The cooked meal that I am thinking, the one that came to my mind is actually a dish I made when I was at university, the first kind of real trying to make good food when you're at university. It was a vegetarian bolognese sauce with spaghetti, which you won't really find in Italy. It's called ragu, but in completely different style. But that's what I would be today. Or tiramisu, my favorite dessert. Pasta bake. We're going with an Italian theme here. They do make good food. They do make very good food, I have to say. The Italians really know how to cook. Pizza. Could we be any more Italian? All right, fantastic. Absolutely wonderful, guys. So we've been training the right side of our brain at the moment. We're just walking up spaghetti con le vongole, okay? Italian, which is literally authentic Italian food today. Okay, so we're exercising the right side of the brain. I'm going to continue exercising this right side of our brain with a different game. So when you're at home and you have the metaphor cards, it's a quick game that you can play. You can play it before, after dinner. You can play it when you're having a cup of tea. You can play it alone. You can play it with your friends. You can play in any way. Now, before we start playing, if you have the cards at home, the Emotions Games cards, okay, what I'd like you to do is to have them out on a table so you can see all the cards, more or less, okay? If you don't have the cards, don't worry. Take a piece of paper and a pen, and you can write down the emotions, okay? When you have the cards at home, you just pick the emotions that are relevant in that moment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, like I said, is work on the sound metaphor. I'm going to play you some different sounds, not music, sounds. And I want you to reflect on the emotions that come up with these sounds. Now, remember, emotions are not singular. Emotions can come all together, but with different variations, intensities, etc. So try your best just to feel whatever emotions come. If it's 1, if it's 5, if it's 10, don't worry, just let it all come. And try to pick up the cards if you've got the emotions cards at home, or write down the feelings. Now, for example, things like enjoyment, we've got enthusiasm, guilt, affection. These are all the different types of feelings, emotions that we have. So I want you to... Mario wants music. Mario, I'm really sorry. Today's game is not about music, it's sound. So if you don't have the cards, don't worry. Just let the emotions come and write them down. Okay? So the first sound I'm going to play, I need you to help me, however. Okay? I would like you guys to let me know if you can hear the sound first. Okay? Okay, so we're going to go with the first one. You don't know what the sound is. This is another thing. I'm not going to tell you what the sound is because I don't want you to start reflecting on it. I want you to reflect on the actual sound when you hear it. And pick up one of the cards for your emotions that you feel, or some of the cards, or write it down. Okay, so this is number 1. Okay. Okay, so put it into the comments. We've got somebody says that they feel refreshed. Okay, can you connect that with anything else? An emotion, serenita. Marta, relax, serenity, tranquility. Okay, great. So, does anybody know what that sound is? What did I play to you? Can anybody think? So, what do you think it was? Where do you think I recorded it? So, we could have, let's have a look. I think for me, it would be nostalgia. That's the card I would have picked. Oh, yeah, I think this one. Fulfillment. The water in the sink. Okay, so Mario thinks it's the water in the sink. I also would pick solitude. So these are the emotions that I would pick. A waterfall. Sounds interesting. All right, wonderful. You guys are doing a really good work, really good job here, really good work. Continue to pick your emotions from the cards if you have them and continue to write them otherwise. Okay, we're going to move to the second one. Okay, are you ready? So everybody, big deep breath. Remember, we're focusing on the metaphor of sound. Okay, here we go. Okay, I tried my best not to show my emotions on my face, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to. I wanted to be as impartial as possible, but I didn't. I couldn't. So we have somebody that says happy. Okay, that's good. Does anybody else have any other emotions they want to share? I'm gonna try and find my one. That's definitely one. Joy. Oh, I can't find the card. Let me have another look. Anybody else? There we go. I've got mine. So, joy, as you could see on my face. Affection, an absolute bundle of affection, and a hint of sadness there for me. That was the emotions that came up with me. Mario said simplicity. Okay. All right, guys. So good work. Well done. So what we're doing here is connecting the sound that we hear with the emotions that it arises. Now, if you think about it, our lives are continuously surrounded by sound, the sound everywhere around us. So then obviously these are emotions that are provoking within us as well. Okay. Ready for the next one? Okay. This is an interesting one. All right, guys. I'm going to try and be as poker face as possible, but okay. All right, so we have somebody fun, adventure. Okay, can you try and think of maybe adjectives for emotions? So let's try maybe fun, could be excitement, curiosity, Bea and Marta. Thank you for watching, Bea and Marta. Very nice. Love, interesting. Adventure, maybe we could think about curiosity. Okay, let me share you my ones. So mine was mistrust. Chiara said calm. Discomfort. Fear. And vulnerability. So that's what it provoked in me. All right, you're doing really well here, guys. You're doing such a good job of connecting. Okay, does anybody know what that sound is? Corteggiamento. Courting, according to Mario. So does anybody know what it was? What do you think it was? I didn't ask about the other one because it was quite obvious. Two birds that are courting. Laura said anxiety. Okay, I think Laura and I are probably similar in our feelings there with that kind of noise. Uncomfortable feeling for me. So somebody said it was a jungle. Interesting. The sound is actually of owls. In Italian, I think they're goofy, a bird. And I don't know if they're courting, Mario. I don't know what they are doing, but it's the screech or the sound that they actually make nocturnally in the nighttime. Okay, so good guesses, guys. Well done. All right, we're going to move to the next one. Okay, are you ready? Remember, if you don't have the Emotions Games cards at home, write them down on your piece of paper. If you have them at home, just pick them from the pack. You like Goofy. Mario likes owls. Okay, are you ready for the next one, guys? Okay, so we have some ideas here. We have curiosity, boredom, joy. Okay, very, very interesting. Excitement. Okay, so I have confusion, lightheartedness, the feeling of surprise, enjoyment. And Chiara and the group she's with, everybody said discomfort. Very interesting. And what was that sound? What did you hear? What did you think it was, guys? We are 4 women. Okay, so there are 4 women there, and they felt discomfort at that sound, whereas other people have said joy, boredom, curiosity, excitement. Really, really interesting to see just how differently we interpret sounds and how they, let's say, they come into us and give us a different sensation, different emotion. Remember I said that this is an individual thing that we're doing here. It's not got to have the same answer as other people. It's individual. So what do you think that sound was? What do we think? Does anybody have any ideas? Lots of noisy babies. Yeah, it's the sound of children playing in a playground. Busy streets of New York. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's kids playing, kids at recess. Okay, wonderful. All right, here we go. Here's the next one, guys. Remember, get it on your piece of paper and pen if you don't have the Emotions Games cards at home. And let's go. Bea said it makes her feel angry. Okay. Confusion, discomfort, anger, no feeling, normal, unbothered, said another person. Indifference is actually an emotion. To feel indifferent, or this idea of feeling nothing and feeling numb, is actually a is actually emotion. Sorry, I'm laughing because somebody is swearing because they don't like that sound. They have it's Mario who has said that it's traffic. Okay, yeah, he guessed it. It is traffic. Okay, I have a feeling of confusion, impatience, frustration, and also boredom. So we had somebody here who said that they're feeling unbothered and normal. Indifference is an emotion, that feeling of numbness that doesn't have any nervosismo. Yeah, agitation. Okay. So that is also a feeling, that is also an emotion. Okay. Right, we're going to move on to the next one. So put it down on your piece of paper or use the cards. Here we go. Okay, so we have some people said boredom. Somebody says me. Oh, Maria said when I sleep well, so happiness. Okay, so we've got funny, humor, hilarious. So it could be those emotions that come from joy, excitement, this little, the giggles that we get. Okay, I related it to frustration and to anger. It's the type of noise that doesn't let me sleep and the type of noise that leads to frustration because of the lack of sleep. So yeah, it's annoying, it's fastidious. Yeah, not my favorite. All right, well, we've got Laura here, so fastidious as well. Okay, perfect. All right, are you ready for the next one? Here we go. This is an interesting one. Okay, we've got creativity, we've got happy. Sorry, I dropped a card. The beginning of music, creativity, happy, experimenting, groovy. Ooh, groovy. Okay, very interesting. I can't understand what noise it is, said Kiana. Does anybody know what that noise was? Obviously, the previous one was very easy. It was snoring. What is this one? Should we listen to it again, just very quickly? So we have excitement. Somebody said excitement. I also had excitement. I've got passion, lightheartedness, and enjoyment. They were the emotions that were coming through. A child playing the drums. That's interesting. Okay. Anybody else? What else do you think it could be? Un bambino che gioca con le pentole. Somebody who's playing with pots and pans and a wooden spoon. Okay. All right. Very interesting. The noise is of tap dancing. So when you have the shoes with the metal piece and you dance on wooden floors or on the thing, you tap dance. So it's actually very groovy. It's tap dancing. Okay, good work, guys. All right, got another one coming up. Are you ready? So if you have the cards, choose the cards, put them on your list otherwise. And here we go. Okay, so Mario thinks this is the same as the first one. Somebody said hate. Somebody said comfort. We have annoyed. Does anybody know what the sound was? Has anybody got an idea what they think it could be? Oh, I'm dropping the cards. Butterfingers today. Annoyed. Okay. Very, very interesting. Let me go through my ones. I have affection. Super annoyed. No, Mario, mine's affection. Super affection. Appreciation. Love. Oops. Gratitude. Pain and sadness. Does anybody know what the sound was? Does anybody want to risk, challenge, come up with an idea? Mario thinks it's really similar to the first sound, which was a stream, water passing. Anybody have any idea of what it could be? The feeling of comfort, somebody said, is yes, maybe similar to the feeling of security and also protection. The sound was popcorn popping in a pan. I forgot to also choose nostalgia. For me, it's frying. It's popcorn in a pan, and for me, it's the sound of a very familiar sound of home, of my grandmother, who passed away 5 years ago. So it's moved around a lot of emotions for me, just that sound of her, of my emotions that I have about her and the loss of her, and in general my family, and the feeling of homesick. All right, so well done, guys. We're going to move on to the next one, and we have two more. This is number 2, and then we play the last one. Okay. Okay, so we have scary, nostalgia, horror movie. We also, somebody said unpleasant taste, which is distaste, disgust. Very interesting. I'm going to share my one. So I said enjoyment. I like the visual image that I got of it. It gave me a sense of enjoyment. With insecurity, vulnerability, and also gratitude. So these are the feelings that moved around in me, the emotions that were moving around within me when I heard that. So does anybody know what that sound was? Can anybody tell me what they heard? What do you think it was? A horror movie. So what do we think that sound was, guys? What could you relate it to? Have you heard it before? Any ideas? Put them in the comments. There might be a delay. I'm going to tell you what the sound is, guys. It's of a radio smoothie. Smoothie blender. Gonna say no. Gonna say no. Let's try again. I want you guys to listen again. Just see if you can. Okay. Any other ideas? It's not great because obviously it's not the real deal, but it's the next best thing. It's a thunderstorm. It's a thunderstorm. Road on a rainy day. Similar. Almost there. Yeah, so it's a thunderstorm. It's the sound of the thunder that gave me the visual image of lightning, which I like watching. And that visual image brings to mind this excitement, this enjoyment that I get from watching the lightning in the sky, especially here in Geneva when it's by the sea. Beautiful. Gratitude came from just nature, just this idea of nature and the gratitude of Mother Nature and how powerful Mother Nature is. Okay, the last one, guys, the last one. Here we go. Okay, what do you think, guys? Mario has a right emoticon. Well done. It is. It's a lion roar. What emotions did that provoke in you guys? What emotions did you feel while hearing that noise? Annoying? I got vulnerability. I got fear and insecurity. These are the emotions that came up within me after fierezza. Pride, is that not pride? Yeah. This sense of pride. Okay, very interesting. Courage, pride. Okay, good adjectives there, guys. Okay, so today we looked at 12 different sounds. We heard 12 different sounds, and we gave a reflection of emotions that it provokes within us. And well done, absolutely well done, guys. We were able to reflect on the sense of hearing and the emotions that it allows us to feel, the emotions that go through us. And if you notice, we're not feeling the same emotions as other people, and sometimes we are feeling the same emotions as other people, which just shows how individual this type of which shows how individual emotional intelligence is. It's not the same for everybody. It's different. It's different for all of us because we are different people with different perspectives, different experiences, different backgrounds. Another thing I want you to notice is these feelings that we experience from the first one to the last one, they also changed, which helps us to relate the idea how emotions actually don't just stay the same within us. They don't just sit there. They move around. So you can feel an emotion and then it goes away. And this is really similar to the idea that I was speaking about at the beginning of how to manage the emotion to make it appropriate for the situation. So we were looking at maybe a lion's roar and then children playing, or two very different situations or two very similar situations. For example, a thunderstorm and the lion's roar, both very, let's say, Mother Nature experiences. And we had different reactions, different feelings, different emotions that were coming up within us, but they didn't stay there. They came and they went, and they came and they went, and that's really, really, really interesting idea of emotional intelligence. If you guys have any questions, can you put them in the comment section now, and I'll try and look at them while I just do a bit of a roundup of what we did today. So if you have questions, put them in, and as soon as I've done the roundup, the wrap up, I can answer your questions if you have any. So today we connected with our senses, our sense of sound, our sense of hearing. We exercise the right side of our brain using the metaphor cards first. We try to give us a bit of training here with the metaphor cards just to warm us up. And we looked at a game that we could play very easily at home with our friends, on our own, in company. And then we looked at the metaphor of sound in more detail and how everyone feels these emotions differently, how they evoked different feelings within us, which could also be the experiences that we've had in our lives have morphed us, they've transformed us, they've changed us. And this also is the same for our emotions. So all these experiences that we've had can then give us a different output. And they provoke different things within us. We saw some similarities and we saw some differences. And I hope that helped us to understand that it's really individual. We have a question. How do you stop thinking about the emotion? That's a really interesting question. So the idea of emotional intelligence is not to stop or suppress emotions, but it's actually to recognize them. So if you're asking, like, how do I stop feeling and dwelling on a situation, takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of training on your emotional intelligence. Playing these kind of games will help us to, one, recognize the emotion. The second step then is, if we look at the book that we were speaking about earlier here, so recognizing, one, what we're feeling, so know what we're feeling. The second one is how to handle that emotion. So ask the question as well, like, what are you doing here, emotion? Trying to not think, but relate to that emotion. Ask, what are you doing here, emotion, which is one of the sessions that we did previously, a couple of Sundays ago. I mean, feel, not think. Okay. Feel your emotions. It's not feeling your emotions is actually the opposite of emotional intelligence. Saying, oh, no, they don't exist, only happy thoughts, is actually quite dangerous compared to saying, okay, I feel like, oh, I feel like this. Recognizing that emotion and then understanding what that emotion is doing here. So if you think about the 6 basic emotions, we had anger, sadness, fear, surprise, joy, distaste. Remember, they all are here to tell us something. They all are allowing us to react to what is happening in our environment and what is happening inside of us. So to not feel an emotion, it means that I'm not recognizing it, which is step number 1. We need to know what that emotion is. We need to recognize it. Then we need to manage those emotions and say, is this appropriate to what I'm feeling at the moment? Not criticizing it, but trying to say, okay, if I'm feeling anxiety, I'm soothing my anxiety, I'm listening to it because it's telling me something. How do you feel and not think? That's an interesting concept as well. You need to train your emotional intelligence. You need to play more of these games. It's really unfortunate that when we were at school, we weren't told how to breathe and be present. Mindfulness, playing these games, these are the things that are going to help us to feel. And we're not saying that you shouldn't think. Okay, emotional intelligence is not saying don't think, it's saying connect with your emotions. So then when you do think and you make rational decisions, they are healthier decisions that you make. You can't have really high IQ and be a genius without having interpersonal emotional skills. You need both of them. So training your emotional intelligence comes from playing with these cards, playing with these games. It comes from recognizing those emotions. It comes from then making those emotions appropriate for each situation, making healthy decisions. That's exactly what the idea of emotions games is. The emotions games cards make it more accessible. So if you have these cards at home, you can play these games on your own, you can play with your friends, and what you're doing is every day is investing in yourself. You're investing your time to train your emotional intelligence, which will then make you more successful in your communication and have healthier relationships as you go through this world. There's that famous saying that no man is an island, which is true. So when we are navigating our way around the world, we're navigating with lots of people, lots of different emotions, lots of different consequences, situations. It's hard. It's really, really difficult. And the best thing that we can do for ourselves is work on our emotional intelligence, train ourselves, play these games, connect with our emotions, really understand our emotions and say, hey, what are you doing here? Have a conversation with them. So yeah, I would say the best thing to do is breathe, definitely, play emotions games, and connect. Just connect with yourself. Okay. I don't see any other questions, so thank you very much, everybody, for taking part again. You guys were fantastic. Really, really good job. What I'd like to say to you is that you have spent a lot of precious time on yourself, and you've spent a lot of precious time with me. So very, very thankful. A lot of gratitude that you've spent this time working on yourself and also helping me on my journey of personal growth and emotional intelligence, as well as on your own. So great work, everybody. Thank you for staying connected. If you want more information about the cards, get in touch with Emotions Games on Facebook or on Instagram. Send us a message. Let us know if you have any questions. So thank you very much, everybody, for taking part. You were absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed the games, and I hope you did too. Remember, these are games that you can play at home as well. So stay tuned every Sunday for Emotions Games in English, and Bridges of Light also has Emotions Games in Italian every Tuesday at 2 p.m. So if you're Italian and you're watching, ogni martedì alle ore 14. Sorry about my accent. All right, thank you so much, guys. Bye. See you next week.